Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And this is another one of my introductory videos because I'm doing another series. So we're going to be looking at the series called The Princess Diaries by Meg Cabot. So yes, they made 2 films. As far as I know, they're trying to make a 3rd. But they have very, very little to do with the actual books. Partially because the books are like an 11-book series and things start out very, very differently. The main, if you're familiar with the films, yes, I will eventually plan to cover them, but at the very end after I've covered all the books. So, just because they are very different. The basic story is the same, but this book covers, I believe, trying to see here, there are, let's see. So you have The Princess Diaries, which is book 1. You have the second book, which is The Princess in the Spotlight. You have book 3, which is Princess in Love. Then you have book 4, which is A Princess in Waiting. And then she has some short stories. You have volume 4.5, which is Project Princess. Then you have volume 5, the 5th book, which is Princess in Pink. And then 6, which is Princess in Training. Then you have another short book, which is 6.5, which is Princess Present. And then you have book 7, which is Party Princess. And then you have volume 7.5, which is Sweet 16 Princess. And 7 3/4, so another short story called Valentine Princess. And then we have book 8, which is Princess on the Brink. Book 9, which is Princess Mia. Book 10, which is Forever Princess. And that's essentially the end of the teen focus of these. She has volume 11. That is normally billed as an adult romance novel, which is called The Royal Wedding. It takes place 6 years later. So I'm going to cover all of these. She also has a few other middle school books that I may cover at some point. Notebooks of a middle school princess, and she has a couple of those, and she seems to be actively writing them. So, but I'm going to at least mainly cover the main Princess Diaries in this, including that Royal Wedding, which again, Forever Princess was published in 2009, and then the Royal Wedding wasn't published until 2015. So, and then you also have the Middle School Princess, which was published around that same time. So it's strange. The Middle School Princess was published in May 19, and then the Royal Wedding was in June 2nd. The setup for this Middle School Princess is actually in that Royal Wedding book. But again, we're going to cover all of these books. These are fun. This is complete fluff. It has, with the exception of the historical value of these books were originally published. The first book was published in 2000. The last of these books, again, was published in 2009, followed by The Royal Wedding in 2015. So it's something to be aware of. So there's cultural references in here. Some things have not aged well. Trump and His Royal Highness Prince Andrew are brought up briefly, I believe in book 2 or 3, in reference to her grandmother being irritating. But so far I've not completed the series, but there is a lot of cultural references in here. There's mentioning of different actors and actresses and different films. So these books definitely take place at a moment in time. So that's something to be aware of. So if you're looking at nostalgia for parents who were teenagers in the early to mid 2000s, I'm on the border here because again, the first book came out in 2003. I graduated from high school in 2003. So, and Mia starts, our main character, Mia Thermopolis, starts out the very beginning of her freshman year at the age of 14 in this book series. So I don't entirely get it because I'm just a little bit too old. But it's a good look at the cultural references of the time of a white girl living in New York City who's slightly spoiled and her mother's a little crazy. But again, they're fun and they're fluff. There's something to read as enjoyment, looking at the life of a teenage girl and how becoming the heir to the throne of a small European country messes with her everyday life. So again, it's fluff. It's absolute fun fluff. It's definitely a romance series. I'm reviewing it because it's enjoyable, and I needed something to, I needed the fluff after reading the Last Apprentice series, which, if you're not aware, I covered that from, I think, starting of August through November of last year. So by the time you guys see this, it would have been last year, which is very, very dark and very slightly depressing, and I needed a refresher to fluff. I needed happy-go-lucky fluff. So I'm choosing to review this. And again, it's a fun series. It's something I recommended when I was working in the public libraries. It's definitely geared at teenage girls or people who identify as female and are interested in kissing boys and fashion and various strange crushes on various movie stars and dancing. She mentions Dirty Dancing quite a bit about with this, which is kind of funny, as well as Footloose. Older films, older dance films, but again, they're described as teen chick lit. They're fun and they're fluff, and they're just something to read as enjoyment. So I would even, once my daughter is old enough and if that is her personality, I would love to plan to read this series with her and talk to her about it just as bonding and just as enjoyment. So that's all this is. It's fun fluff and it's enjoyment reading. So, of a whiny teenage girl. Yeah, I'm getting through this. At the time of this shooting, she's still just turned 15. She started her sophomore year in high school. So she is, yeah, she's still kind of a whiny teenage girl. So it is kind of written in diary format, kind of not. It depends. She's also periodically writing her homework in these books. So you get to see her homework and her complaining about algebra and her mother and her grandmother being crazy, and again, fun fluff. So hopefully you enjoy this. Check out the rest of my channel. I have a variety of book series, a variety of kids books. Check out what I've got. I have a whole bunch of stuff, from films to secular homeschooling stuff to travel stuff. A ton of stuff. So be sure to like and subscribe. Check out this review. Check out this book series if you're interested. Check out the rest of what I've got. So thank you.